Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo. We're back here with some more EVE Online. Now, I did want to quickly mention something before we go ahead and move forward. Two things, actually. Number one, a big welcome to all of the new subscribers. Ever since we hit that 4K mark about 6-7 days ago, just rapid growth on the channel. 113 subs since then. That is awesome. Thank you all for coming aboard. Hope you enjoy the content, and as always, thank you for everybody who's been sharing my videos and making sure that they get recognized. I really do appreciate that. Second thing is, I've kind of reached this point now where we've got a lot of great content on the channel that people are really in love with, and that I also really enjoy making. It's become very difficult to decide what I'm going to make. You know, I pretty much have to look back at my past videos. Okay, what haven't I done in the longest time? Already Eve was about 6, let's do that. Star Citizen was about 5, we'll do that second. So, that's awesome. I'm in a good place. I'm really happy with the work I've been doing, with the content I've been making, and it seems like everyone else is as well. But let's go ahead and dive into EVE Online, because we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to be doing some live commentary, doing a little bit of mission running in my brand new Drake. Bark and Destroy, as I've chosen to call him. Very fittingly, because someone mentioned to me that the Drake looked like a piece of tree bark that was pulled off of a tree, and I completely agree. Therefore, the name Bark and Destroy was assigned. We take a look at my fit really quickly. I'm actually kind of proud of this fit. I'm proud of it because it's the first fit that I pretty much made on my own. I'm going to say pretty much I decided what to go down here on my low slots. These two mid slots were not my idea. I really didn't know what to do there, but I decided on, you know, pretty much all of this. Obviously the Arbalest launchers, just because they're better than the standard, so there's no reason not to run them. And then the rigs was something that I did need a little bit of work with. I just wasn't sure on those yet. There's still so much I have to learn about fitting, and obviously not recognizing like 99.9% of the different pieces of, you know, of equipment makes that very difficult. But that's what the research capability that humans have is for. It's a natural inherent ability that we're born with, a passive skill called research. And we have a very good tool for performing that research called the internet. So that's what I've been doing, and trying to learn as much as I can about fitting and about the way that these systems work. Also, starting to understand these numbers, because there is a lot of numbers here, and they are very intimidating. So the quicker that I understand what they do, what changes what, the easier it'll be for me to start fitting out my own chips, doing my own theory crafting, and having a good time. I love doing my own sort of thing when it comes to that. As nice as it is to help people for help sometimes, hey, you know, what can I do for these last two mids? Sometimes you just want to struggle and figure it out on your own. At least that's how I roll. So, pretty proud of this fit. I've saved it, and, you know, it's going to grow over time. It was very expensive. This is pretty much all of the ISK that I had to purchase the Drake and then to fit it. So I'm back to being poor again. But we're going to do mission running. That's what I want to try and do some focus on today. Mainly just to go ahead and actually gain reputation that I need to start doing higher level missions. So this is actually a 1 of 5 here. 1 of 5 objectives. Alright, so what do we got? Fair play. Investigate the distress call. Eliminate all hostiles. We're just going to go ahead and accept that. Yeah, okay. They're also just like... They've definitely done a good job of throwing more and more bits and pieces of the tutorials into all of these different missions, you know, in case you weren't aware that you should check your local to see who's in the area. Before we head out, though, should mention, as you guys probably already will tell, this is very much going to be a progress update video on top of the Drake. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, not just regarding the Drake, but the paths that I'm going to be taking moving in the future in EVE Online, and also just some things about EVE that have really impressed me. Some game mechanics that to me it's like, wow, this exists in this game, why isn't anyone else doing this? But let's take a look at our ISIS real quick, because I want to talk about the route that I'm going right now. I'm actually training my Caldari frigate to level 5 right now. It only has 3 days left, less than 3 days actually, I believe. That's really genuinely exciting. I'm really happy for that, because what we're going to be doing is pushing into covert ops and going stealth bomber. A lot of people are probably going to try and turn me away from this, but you can't. It's too bad. I know it's terrible. I know a lot of people said it's really difficult, and that's why I want it so badly. Also, I really like the idea of getting into PvP in this manner. Something I'm very excited about. And I think I have to thank, you know, all of the people out there who fly stealth bombers, whose videos I've watched. Obviously, the biggest one being Wingspan TT, Chance Ravine. I mean, you just watch that guy, and he's having the most amount of fun I think anyone is having on EVE, and that's where I want to go for a start. And there's more behind it than just that. I think that if I wanted to get into PvP, challenging myself is going to be a great way to learn a lot about the game. It's also going to put me in a wormhole space. That's going to help me learn about wormholes. It's just it's something I'm very excited to do. So that's what we're working towards. Until then, we're going to continue running missions, gaining up reputation level, and rolling around in the Drake and any subsequent battle cruisers. So let's go ahead and undock here. We're going to head out. Set destination there. I'm not sure if this is going to be an insta-warp as soon as we undock here. Let's find out. No, it's not. We're jumping to Entreaty. Alright, so I want to talk about the Drake a little bit more before I go any further, because this is a really cool element that Eve... it's a really cool element in Eve. You know, something that only seems to happen in this game. It's very rare to find this in other MMO experiences. But whenever I get into a new ship in this game, I do research on it. Obviously not just to see what the ship is most capable of in terms of what the community has been using it, but also to see the stories and the sort of little bits and pieces about that ship, the background that seems to have been created over time by the players. You know, this isn't stuff that was preordained and written by CCP. This is just the history of this ship as created by the community, the people who have used it in these situations. And the Drake is well known for being a very good PvE ship because of its tank. At the same time, it's also known for being sort of a Trojan horse used for baiting in PvP fleet battles. That's cool. Like, that story, that exists because players went out and used the ship in that manner. CCP didn't create the Drake and then say, yeah, this and this and that. You know, that was sort of just a side effect of its capabilities. And that seems to be the situation with a lot of the ships in this game, and I think that gives this game so much more character than anything else I have ever played. And Eve just continues to impress me in that manner. There's just the small bits here and there. It's just so many details in this game that, you know, really bring out the spirit of the game, that, you know, make it feel very special. Alright, let's go ahead. I knew one of you stupid newbies would fall for this. Now send me all of your risk or I will pod you. No? No, no, and no. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come kill you. We're going to come slaughter you, pirates. Be prepared. So yeah, the details of Eve have definitely genuinely impressed me. There's lots of mechanics in this game that I really love that I can't see not existing. Like, if they didn't exist, Eve wouldn't be Eve. The security system obviously being one of the biggest ones. I mean, it's exceptional. Hello. Let's make a forward orbiting push towards the target, and then eliminate. He probably wasn't expecting me to show up with a Drake. His final words, "Ha, you're so stupid, I will own you." He sounds like a real player is what he sounds like. I gotta love that. No, I'm sorry, you're dead. You're dead, and more dead. Good day, goodbye to you. Time for us to go back home, grab those loyalty points, and the ISK. That was the best. I'm probably way out leveled in a Drake right now, but that's just the nature of playing with a group of people, doing whatever the hell you want, and then end up, you know, going back on the normal path. But I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And again, my account's actually now 28 days old, so since the beginning my focus was always to have as much fun as possible because I was really concerned about becoming frustrated and worn out with the game at an early stage. I have to say, if I actually had just stuck with things, I probably wouldn't have. You know, it was just a matter of learning the things I needed to learn to avoid that frustration, as I've said before. But I'm still trying to do that. I'm still just doing what I want to do. And this ship was, you know, for the most part, funded by group missions, level 3 missions, level 2 missions that I was running with members of Praxis, you know, some of the guys who've been playing Eve for a long time. And in the same vein, it was also, you know, funded by bits and pieces of my high-sec data exploration and also mining. Not a lot of ISK there, maybe 10 mil ISK altogether combined with all the money I earned in data and also in mining, but I'd say that's a decent amount. It's definitely not the most profitable 28 days someone has ever had, but in terms of profit to fun ratio, it's pretty good. It's Drone! Drone, I see you! I'm sorry. I could be running missions with you, but I'm recording. It's always really hard to, like, actually do a video and then try and communicate with someone in a group, so I usually don't do that, at least not a live commentary when I actually want to talk about my progress in the game. It just doesn't work out. I end up spending all this time typing in chat, and it's just no good. But that was Drone the man. I hope nobody saw his name. Last thing I need is people spamming the poor guy. Don't spam him if you see his name, please. Alright, so let's head back. Let's bring in the cash. What is going on here with my overview? Something popped up there. That was odd. Anyways. Go back in and turn this in. I'm really excited to keep playing Eve. I think is the big thing for me. That was really the thing. When I set out, I had this really strong feeling about the game. Like, yeah, this is what I wanted. Like, I want to keep playing this game. And I wasn't sure though. You know, you can say that to yourself, and sometimes the game feels really great, and you feel like you're getting into it, and then all of a sudden you just hit a wall, and it's just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. But it hasn't been like that, you know. The few times where I think I've been a little bit, you know, frustrated as to what I want to do next, and I'm, you know, tired of soloing, I kind of just stop playing for the day, and then I wait until I'm playing in a group again. And, you know, obviously, the game just becomes, you know, without a doubt, it's instantly more enjoyable when you play in a group. I'm not saying it can't be enjoyable when you run solo, but it's easier to enjoy the game in a group, and I think everyone who plays Eve will completely agree with that. Alright, on to the second one here. We'll run a couple more, so I got some things I want to talk about. A life of crime. Pirating is a common, if illegal, career path for capsuleers. Some turn to piracy for money, some for glory, others do it just to be jacks. Fellow capsuleers have the least tolerance for the latter group, though Concord is eager to swat any of them. We're all talking about the gankers, the goon squad. Alright, let's go ahead and accept it. And let's roll out. Alright, so last bit of discussion I want to have during the course of this video. Let me see, did we check everything off here? There's so much I could have talked about today. We talked about the Drake. We talked about Bark and Destroy. We talked about... Okay, we already got it. We're good to go. We talked about my future career path for EVE Online. Oh, I did actually want to talk about how one of the cool things about you, right, is there's so much to learn that just about everything you decide to do in the game, as long as it has some sort of a direct purpose, it seems that you will actually benefit from that. You will learn something from that. And the biggest thing was, for me, understanding a little bit about how D-Scan works. I leave it open because I'm always using it, trying to use it whenever I remember, just to get a brief idea of, you know, what it's about and how it functions. But my first experience with it was a couple days ago. We decided we were going to roll out adventures. There was 3 of us. 3 of us were going to go in adventures equipped with combat drones. Everybody's going to know our plan now if we try it in the future. And try and bait pirates in some low security areas. And we were in low sec, like 0.3, 0.4. And we spent about an hour and a half mining, actually, you know, really large amounts of ore. We filled our cargo holds up twice, and it came back with about 3 mil ISK. But we never managed to attract any pirates. So sometimes the bait works and sometimes it doesn't. But one of our guys was actually sitting about 80 AU off, I think it was 80k off or something like that. Anyways, he was basically out there running D-Scan, you know, paying attention to all the things going in and out of the system. And I thought that was just really cool. Like, there's a really cool feeling to that. And if we were actually doing some sort of a, you know, stealth operation, and we had a guy running scan, you know, letting us know when people were coming in, there's this whole sort of element of teamwork and communication there that, you know, people dig really hard to find those elements in other gameplay experiences in other games, whether it be a first-person shooter, an open world game, and it's just here in EVE like in tenfold with everything you do whenever you roll in a group. And the D-Scan tool was obviously a big part of that, and just something that I thought was really cool. Okay, we need to stop floating out in space, at least we're cloaked. Warp to location. Haha, stupid miner, why don't you learn to fly a real ship? I love the AI, they're hilarious. If I knew nothing about the game, it would probably be less funny, but the fact that he thinks I'm in a miner when I'm about to roll up in a Drake is absolutely comical. Maybe we should let him shoot us for a little bit. Let's just see how much we can tank this guy. I think we'll do that. We'll see what he has. I mean, I briefly know ships in this game, so if I like roll up and he's in like a Caracal, which I don't think he will be, then we'll just nuke him. But I'm pretty sure he's just going to be in some puny ship because this is a level 1 mission. That's gonna be a good time. While we're gonna go ahead and eliminate this last thing, but not least, that I wanted to talk about was why I love the sort of full-on PvP, kill anyone at any time nature of EVE, right? So you have the security system in this game, you know, null sec, low sec, wormhole space, all the way up to high sec, right? So that's the thing that exists, and that's all fine and dandy. You know, it's a big part of the EVE experience. It really makes up how the game functions and how people go about their everyday, you know, sort of goals and tasks in EVE Online. It's a very structural element. It provides a lot of structural support for EVE as a whole, and I appreciate that. I think it's an awesome system. I really do. Well, let's close in on this guy. Let's go about 15k. And at the same time, like I said, just because there's a security system doesn't mean that you can't be ganked coming out of JITA. You know, that's why you run Insta-Undock and JITA. It doesn't mean you can't be ganked by someone. Obviously, things like JITA Burn, you know, I've done the research on that. People may hate the idea of that and think it's like disgusting. Oh, would you just kill it? And is it same thing with like stealth bombers and stuff? But I love that, because on the other side of the coin, the person who, you know, is out there exploring or mining, just imagine, in my opinion, how boring things would be if you were in low sec mining this really expensive piece of ore, and the only risk that you had was when was your cargo hold gonna fill up. That would be so dull. I would hate it. We could already target this guy. What is he running anyways? Let's take a look at his ship. He's in just a fighter. He's not, that's not a terrible ship. He's wanted. Look at that tiny bounty, 5k, man. I bet you he thinks he's a real big man. Let's just take him out from here. I decided that I don't like him. Let's just murder him. I think I'm actually slightly out of range on those. Oh, it doesn't matter, it hit anyways. We do need to approach him a little bit more. Let's just get a close orbit going. But anyways, I think that adds a huge element to this experience. And, you know, a lot of people might argue that it's not fair, but what EVE does, this really wonderful thing, is how many tools they give the player to stay alive, you know? There's almost no excuse for dying when you're out doing any task, whether you're in high sec or low sec. You are given the tools by CCP to be as aware as possible, to have that situational awareness to avoid just about any gank or any situation. And without those little elements, the game just wouldn't be as special. If I could just fly around 0.7 security location and never have to worry about any other player, that would just be lame. You know, even if I just had even if I had, you know, a AI to worry about, it still just wouldn't be the same. There's something really genuinely special about the way the security system and the punishment system is designed in EVE. Obviously, if somebody does decide to attack you in high sec, there's a very good chance they're dead. Concord is just going to show up and absolutely annihilate them. I love all of these systems to death. I've seen them at their, you know, their barest form, and I've also seen them, how well they function, you know, from other people's experiences when you really are in low sec and you're in high sec and things just go wrong. I love that. I love the way that system works. It's so well designed that without it, EVE just wouldn't be the same game. I think everyone would agree on that, new player or not. You know, I think it's very easy to see how important the security system is, and the way that players, it's very much treated like the real world, right? You can go ahead, you can fly into high security, and you can swat that guy in the tiny little cruiser, but be prepared to pay the consequences. You walk into that convenience store and you decide to smash the face over the clerk over the face, I don't know, with a gallon of milk. Be prepared to face the consequences. That's just how things goes, but no one is going to restrict you. I always I always think about this one quote. It's a Vandal song. We're gonna end on a old punk rock reference here. The Vandals had a song called Anarchy Burger, right? And at one point in the song, the line was, "You think you're free? Try walking into the deli and urinating on the cheese." Because that was their idea, you know, freedom, you'd be able to do that and no one would second guess you. But in reality, you can do that. You can walk into your local deli and you can take a piss on the cheese, but there will definitely be consequences for that. I guess that's kind of EVE, right? That's a new player's perspective of the security system in EVE. It's like that one line from the Vandals' Anarchy Burger. You think America's free? Try walking in the deli and urinating on the cheese. I also quote that in XXX, which is hilarious. But that's gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna head back in, turn these disc off, and I'm actually gonna head off and go play some Star Citizen, because as you may have guessed it, the next video from me is actually going to be a look at the brand new bombing ship that has recently become flyable in Star Citizen 1.1.1. I'm not going to name that ship, you probably know, but I did manage to get my hands on one. It may have melted Mahjong Scout. May have melted Mahjong Scout 4, but that'll be what's up in the next video. If you guys have any questions for me regarding what you saw here today in this Eve video, and as always, those of you Eve vets out there, be sure to let me know if you're enjoying the video. I keep seeing new people stumbling upon the videos every day, and I'm just really excited that a new player like myself can use a combination of my noobness with my YouTube commentary skills to make some really interesting content that people on the other spectrum, you know, the people who've been playing it for years and months, can look back and be like, man, that's what that's like, that's cool. And I'm just really, it puts a smile on my face every time someone says, you know, just how much they're enjoying seeing a new player's perspective through my videos. That's one of the reasons I keep making them. And it's one of the reasons I enjoy making them so much, because also, there'll be a point when I'll be able to look back at these videos and say to myself, wow, he put that on, he put what on that Drake? What was he thinking? I'm really looking forward to that time, but that's gonna do it for this one. I won't say fly safe because there's a certain other YouTuber who also seems to have claimed that, but if you guys look down in the local chat, I'll see you in the next one.